Yeah, because we don't have those conversations when it comes to getting married. It's just like I feel butterflies. It's on. That's all I need to feel the butterflies. The butterflies and the sex was good.
Hmm.
And he fine.
Right. And I have a whole other perspective about what I think about butterflies. So,
Let's talk about it then since we're here.
yes. So, butterflies don't always mean this is a good fit, right? Butterflies are a signal from your body that something about this situation needs your attention. It doesn't mean it's good or bad. You have to
Mhm.
evaluate where the butterflies are coming from because your body is a compass. It's
Mhm.
always going to show you where you are and tell you what direction you need to go in. So for some people, the butterflies means, oh, this is the same toxic energy that we felt with Bobby or Karen or Shauna or Jack. Sometimes the butterflies is saying there's danger here, right? Other
Mm.
times the butterflies may be saying this feels familiar. I remember this. So butterflies are not an instant connective thing. It doesn't mean that you have chemistry and there's a connection. It means that your body is trying to tell you something and you need to take a moment to stop and listen to figure that thing out.
Wow. I never heard that before. Because I just hear the Michael Jackson butterflies, that we just, that's all we hear. We just, butterflies are always a great thing.
That's what
But
we think. But you think about those times where you're doing something new and you get nervous and you start getting those rumbles and those butterflies in your belly. The result ain't always pretty.
wow. I love it. That is so good. Yeah, you just done messed up somebody's whole relationship.
Right. Sorry, not sorry.
They like, I had butterflies and now it's a compass, huh? I love that. That's good. Have you ever seen a couple and you were like, they're ready. They're ready for marriage. And if not, like what are some keys to let you know that this couple is ready for marriage?
Hmm. So it's okay for couples to have some level of apprehension and some trepidation, some fear, right? That's always normal.
Mhm.
When I do see couples who are ready for marriage, the key component in that relationship is open communication.
Mhm.
And it seems like such a simple principle, but that's because if the communication is there, you can overcome so many things. You can remove so many blocks and barriers. So the couples that I look at and I say, oh, wow, they're really ready to take it to the next level are those who are able to clearly communicate with one another. And in their communication, there is emotional intelligence. They're not bickering, they're not going back and forth. One is able to be silent and listen while the other one speaks. They're able to figure out emotionally what's happening in this space. And you have one partner who is clearly operating from a feminine energy, emotional space, and another partner who's clearly operating from a rational, masculine space. Those are the dynamics that I look at and I say, oh, this is a mature couple. They're ready to take that next step if they desire to. And then there's everybody else.
Yeah, because there's people that's married that don't have communication down. So
That part.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can get that in before marriage, and the emotional intelligence is something that we lack. Like people, we can even see that from just a social media perspective, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
somebody say one thing and it just starts a fire, and uh it's tough. Communication with these devices in our hands, communication is still tough.
It is. And the devices make communication tougher. We're talking to each other, we're talking at each other, but we're not communicating because in order for us to clearly communicate, there has to be an actual connection. I have to care about what you're saying. You have to care about what I'm saying. There's patience in that, right?
Mhm.
There's stability in that. And so there are all these emotionally intelligent things that need to be in place in order for the communication to really work. And that's why it's so challenging for most people.
Yeah, it is. Because I know I've struggled with it. Lord knows.
Mm-hmm.
Like just harnessing my emotions, just making sure that I'm actually listening, before I fly off the handle, or if there's
Hmm.
something that my wife say to me, and I feel something like right here. I'm just like, mm.
Yeah.
And I'm just learning how to, you know what? Let me hear what she have to say, and let me
Hmm.
repeat back to you what you said. So that way I hear it 3 times.
Right, right.
I've heard it.
Most of us are communicating with ourselves in those moments. And so you become triggered based on the internal conversation you're having, and then you lash out who you're talking to because it's something that you remembered from 6 years ago, not really about what's happening right now. So we do have to learn how to manage our emotions in the process of communicating with our partners.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a show within itself with this
Tell
communication.
me about it.
Are there any benefits of premarital counseling?
Oh, of course, of course. Mediation is so powerful because there's a non-biased person in the space who can help you figure out what you're feeling and what you want to say, and then who can help you communicate that to your partner. And that is beneficial for both of the individuals in the relationship. Of course, the other benefit is that there is someone in the room who can help you all navigate the space that you're in when those emotions do come up, when the triggers do come up. And this is, of course, given that you're working with a licensed counselor or a coach or a married elder who has experience in some way so that they can give you some strategies, give you some tools, help guide you in that emotional space and that process. I think that all couples should go through some level of coaching or therapy or counseling before they get married, simply so that they learn the mechanisms to move through challenges and struggle within the relationship dynamic, because those times are going to come.
Hmm. Yeah. I really do believe in premarital counseling because there's a lot of people that just forego it. They just like, I'm good. I'm gonna have Elvis marry us. We're gonna go to Vegas. We good,
Right.
you know? And I'm just like, man, and again, like I said, therapy is important too. Uh,
Hmm.
Something that I've learned over time is my wife and I, we have our individual therapist, but and then we have our marriage therapist.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
because you got to work through those personal issues, you know. Um, if you just
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you just jump into to the therapy session, you still have things that you have to work out from a personal
Right.
perspective, you know.
Hmm. And I
So,
think that's why marriage counseling sometimes doesn't work, as people say. It's not that
hmm
the counseling is not working, it's that the individuals are not where they need to be individually in order for this togetherness to happen. My husband and I, we've done personal development courses and workshops and things individually and together, and there's coaching and there's all types of things that you can do. So if the therapy aspect or the coaching component or the counseling component doesn't sound right to you, there are so many resources, but I absolutely recommend that couples take the time to find one of those resources at least to work on themselves individually and then together as well. Kudos to you and wifey.
thank you, appreciate it. It's been some tough seasons.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
It's been
I'm
some tough.
sure. How long have you two been married?
It is going on 7 years this October, but I was previously married for 15 years before going through
Mm,
divorce. Hence scary to remarry. Uh,
yeah.
so I've been on the both ends of the spectrum of newlyweds, but then going through a divorce and starting over. So
Hmm. That
yeah,
takes a lot of courage. So I commend you. I commend you both.
thank you. Yeah, yeah, and that's another one. I could talk to you all day about. What advice do you have for couples who are considering alternative partnerships or lifestyles instead of traditional marriages?